How does the upcoming conference in Dar es Salaam fit with the IMF's broader work to help countries in Africa cope with the crisis?
The Tanzania conference is aimed at helping us address three broad questions. The first is what can we learn from reform successes in Africa? So the conference will bring together policymakers from across Africa and beyond, civil society representatives and representatives of the private sector to talk about successes in Africa and what we can learn from them. The second broad area that the conference will look at, of course, considering what is happening throughout the world, is the crisis, the economic crisis, and the impact on Africa, and how we can make sure that that progress in Africa is not derailed. And the final area for reflection will be, of course, the strong partnership that the fund has built with Africa over the years, and how to further strengthen that partnership. How can we be more responsive to the priorities of African countries themselves? How can we expand our dialogue to listen more and more to the voices of civil society and other important stakeholders in Africa, so that together we continue to sustain the very considerable progress made these years.
And what can the IMF do to help Africa?
The IMF has already done quite a bit in response to the food and fuel crisis from last year. Back in September of last year, the IMF approved a new facility to support African countries and other low-income countries that are experiencing exogenous shocks. We've, since approval of that new facility in September, been able to extend support to four African countries, the most recent of which is Ethiopia. So the fund has been very quick to put in place a facility that is more flexible, that allows us to respond quicker and with less conditionality to urgent demands for financing that are emerging from the crisis for African countries. Of course, the fund continues to give advice, tailored macroeconomic advice to countries on their options for reform. And finally, the fund is very much expanding technical assistance to Africa. Technical assistance has been extremely important to some of the progress made by African countries over the past couple of decades, and the fund has been a key partner in that effort.